Do you have any hopes of getting that one rescinded so you can play Monday night?
Next question. Russ, were you aware that you were at 15? Next question. Are you disappointed with yourself for picking up your 16? Next question.
Well, in the beginning, he's not going to say anything about the call because it'll cost him $25,000 to $50,000. But Russell also, listen, man, he had a terrible game. They got crushed. Yeah. He's now going to be suspended.
Clay locked him up, man.
I mean, it was his worst game, arguably, of the year. It was 2 of 16, I think 7 points in that game. And he's not, listen, Russ don't love the media. He's going to be terse and a little edgy towards the media.
Russ should be bigger than this. You shouldn't be leading the NBA. Now you get suspended. Now you can't be available for your team. It don't matter. It don't make sense for him to act that way. You've been in the league too long. Now you've had an incident with the fan, with the kid. Now, Russ, it's time to slow things down. You are part of the face of the NBA. All right? Enough is enough.
Well, that point on this 16 text, when Oklahoma City is desperately trying to get back to the 3 line to avoid that 4-5 matchup, avoid Golden State in the first round, that matters to me a lot more than the no comment or next question in the postgame press.
My takeaway was the amount of ice that was in that cup.
I knew that.
I mean, put more liquid in it so there's not so much shaking. Time for stories to start your morning. Sponsored by Gillette Clear Gel. The NCAA bracket was released yesterday. Duke, UVA, UNC, and Gonzaga are your 1 seeds. Nick, what's the biggest storyline of the tournament, in your opinion?
To me, there's one on each side of the bracket. On the left side, it's Duke and the year of Zion Williamson. Can he trump the year Carmelo Anthony had, which is considered probably the best freshman year in modern NCAA history? And on the right side of the bracket, Virginia. Can they finally even come close to living up to their seed? To me, those are the 2 dueling storylines of this tournament.
To me, the question is, who's going to be Cinderella? We know she always shows up, and it doesn't come in any form or fashion. We don't know East, Mid-East, West. We don't know where she's coming from, but she will show up to the dance, and people will be cheering. That's why we watch March Madness. We're going to see Zion play in the pros.
Real quick, last year, C was made to pick a Cinderella. Didn't want to do it, but grudgingly picked Loyola Chicago, and then they ended up making that bowl.
Being on TV, I'm trying to teach you this is about being right. You just think it's your last name.
Okay.
To the NBA now. Sixers beat the Bucks 130 to 125 yesterday. Giannis had 52 in the loss, with Joel Embiid leading the way for the Sixers with 40. Nick, which one of these teams is more likely to come out of the East?
Man, Milwaukee's been the best team all year, but underrated undercover. They suffered a major injury this week in Malcolm Brogdon being out, I think, probably for the rest of the year. I know they're saying 6 to 8 weeks. That means more minutes for George Hill. That means more pressure on Giannis when we know the defenses in a series are going to play off him. Milwaukee right now still with an asterisk, but Philly is coming and Toronto's been there all year long.
Yeah, we can't determine who's going to be the best in the East. When you lose a starter, and we've seen this with playoff runs, man, you get injuries down the stretch, and it is on the board that he could miss all of the postseason. So right now, there is no best team in the East.
All right, moving on to the New York Giants. They reportedly are not interested in scouting quarterback Dwayne Haskins. Seems like they will continue to ride with 38-year-old Eli Manning, who will turn 39 in January, and then 40 the January after that, so on and so forth. CC, good move by the Giants?
I mean, I don't believe it's true. I don't believe this is true. I believe the Giants do have an interest in him. I know they sat down with him. He was very pleased with the interview that they did at the Combine. He felt like the time was very, very special. He let them know he was born in New Jersey, grew up a Giants fan, and would love playing. So we're in the lying season in the NFL, and I believe this to be one of many lies to be told.
It would be a total dereliction of duty if they don't do full due diligence on Dwayne Haskins. Now, we're going to find out the 25 player visits they have. That's official. That's on a list. Like, you have to disclose that. So if they don't invite Dwayne Haskins for one of those 25 visits, then there will be more than smoke to this fire. There'll be fire to this smoke.
Be careful if they don't bring him for the visit, because they could still not worry about it, be concerned about a team jumping in front of them. They could not invite him and still draft him.
As like soccer.
I would just say be leery of this.
It's like the double dog under lie. Finally, the Cowboys have gotten their fair share of facing Odell Beckham Jr. over the last 5 years. It's exactly like that, but the trade from the NFC East to the AFC North has Jerry Jones very happy. Jerry was at the Spence Garcia fight in Dallas. Take a listen.
I'm a Browns fan because I'm from Cleveland. We took a fantastic wide receiver out of your division, Odell Beckham Jr. How you feel about that?
Thank you. That's probably put it
Hey,
on.
now you got to watch your back.
Well,
we're coming for you.
Clearly the best news he's heard in a long time. Cece, how much tougher will it be for the Giants without Odell in their lineup?
Well, this is the thing. The Giants, and I know Gettleman and their staff, what they're thinking is they had some success as they finished the season. Not the kind of season they wanted, but the last month of football, the last several weeks where Odell was out of the lineup, they played some good football for them. So they want to be a running team. They want to be physical. But it's about winning football games. And you can win without a dynamic receiver, but I think it's more of a shock to the fans there. I mean, he is iconic in this area, and Giants fans never thought that he would have left, and especially left that quick. But you can still win football games. You can still come up with a good game plan. The thing about what we don't see is we don't like the quarterback. They don't have a bunch of explosive players outside of Barkley. They can't rush the passer. Their defense is not good. So how are they going to play football?
That's everything.
So for me, I just do believe now there is life after Odell Beckham. I just haven't seen the plan yet. So you can win football games without a star wide receiver. I just haven't seen the plan formulated with the Giants.
Well, and the Giants had a hard enough time winning football games with the star wide receiver. Listen, people have been making the point. The Giants, they had a losing record with Odell. They're right. In games Odell played in his career, they won about 43% of them. That's bad. In games he didn't play, they won around 25% of them. That's awful. The Giants' offense in games Odell played since he came into the league scored around 23 points per game. That's okay. It's not elite. In games he hasn't played, they've scored around 17 points per game. That's awful. So, like, they haven't been great with Odell, but they've been horrible without him. What I'm curious for you, see, is you mentioned Giants fans are upset, disappointed about this. What about Saquon? Like, what type of fronts and coverages is Saquon going to be dealing with next year with Odell not out there? Like, how much easier? Because Saquon was excellent last year. I also thought Odell helped him tremendously as far as dictating double teams and dictating coverages. How much harder did Saquon's job get when instead of having Odell Beckham, they got a couple draft picks?
I don't think his job got any harder from a football standpoint. He's a phenomenal player. And if you look at a lot of his runs, the big runs, he did it on his own. It's just people on the field. Now, from a coverage standpoint, we can't think back to the 60s. They're not going to put 9 people in the box, all right? So let's not start saying this, all right? Most teams don't even put 8 people in the box, but they will have a heavy contention. The same thing we said about Ezekiel Elliott. When he was down, the same thing. They got a better offensive line. So it's the same situation that other running backs are going to face. I think his hardest problem is going to be dealing with the media because he's the only star. So he's got to do all the interviews. He's got to do all the sound bites. He's got to ask, man, well, what do you think about the Giants' future? What do you think about Eli? He's going to have to lie. So for me, the football part, he's a natural runner, can catch the ball out of the backfield, is a star already. But it's off the field, answering all those questions, all those leadership things, that right there becomes more difficult immediately.
But to Jerry's point, and we said it the day after the trade, the happiest people were Browns fans, the people of the Browns organization. The next 3 happiest were Cowboys fans, Eagles fans, and Washington fans, because there's 2 games a year they don't have to deal with Odell Beckham.